I've just been cutting out the parts for the rip fence. So I've got a rail with a profile on here that fits on the front edge of the table. And then against that I have sort of a T-square which is made out of 2 layers. The top one keeps it level this way and the bottom one goes against the rail. And a spacer on here. And then this part, and then onto that attaches the fence itself. I glued together the plywood layers of the T-square and now I'm drilling mounting holes for the fence rail. I want these screws to stick out just a little bit so I can mark where the pilot hole needs to go. It's important for the fence not only to be square this way, it's also really important for it to be square this way when ripping stuff vertically against the fence. So this fence T-square needs to go onto this rail somehow, which fits underneath the table here. But before I figure out how to clamp this on here, I'm going to glue this rail onto the table so it acts like one member with the table to really stiffen it up, because there's a risk that this table might sag with the weight of the saw. So this rip fence is really just a fancy T-square that I can clamp to the front rail, and that keeps it nice and square. So I could always just attach the fence with a bar clamp, but I thought that was kind of awkward. A really long C-clamp like this would be ideal, but by the time they get wide enough, they get really bulky. So instead I glued 2 pieces of plywood together and I drew my shape for a clamp that I want to try to make. Well, I was going to use this knob, but then I realized if I put that on here, this knob is always sticking out over the table, so instead I'm going to make a bar knob by taking this thing and hammering the carriage bolt into it. Now just making sure that lines up with the cavity I carved. Now I just have to put the T-nut in here, and I'm going to tap that in with a hammer. Well, that wood split open a little bit from whacking the T-nut in, so I put a drywall screw in there to hold it together, and here's my knob. I can already see the screw here making a divot in the wood, so to give the screw something firm to push against, I'm going to put a flat washer against here. And let's see how that goes now. I decided to give this washer a slightly angled bearing surface, just so that the clamp isn't inclined to slip down as I tighten it. I found that as I tightened this clamp, it would often wander to the side a little bit, especially with this washer now on an incline. So I made these blocks to fit on here and hold it in place. Now I'm going to put a pin in here to kind of hold this clamp in place, and I'll just use my awl to mark through the holes where the thing is right now. So I just drilled a hole here for a nail, and with that in here, that holds the clamp in place, and then if I want to clamp, I just need to push it up and tighten it. After using this fence for a while, I found I sometimes had it hooked up just by the corner here. So I added this rubber band which pulls it up all the way so that I don't have to worry about lifting it up every time I hook it on.